Like, if you're down, you don't know you're down until you notice that there's people above you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then you notice that, wait, I'm not on the same level that those people are. Now you notice and you're cognizant of the fact that I'm beneath them. So part of like the time when, you know, when I was out there and still like in the streets and everything and drug dealing and thugging and all of that stuff, yo, like it was times that I would think about like the aspirations and stuff that y'all had.
Yeah.
From me, you know, like seeing y'all, because like I say, like going through what I was going through, living in the household and everything that I was living through and everything, and then like, cause you know, we were like forced to go to church.
Right.
When the people that are forcing you to go to church, like, you know, really drug to church and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like we get in the church and we get there and everything was good, like even doing the ministries and with your uncle and everything. Like I can remember him teaching me how to like start playing the bass and everything a little bit. And even with him saying like, man, you got these little skinny old fingers, long fingers, man, you were meant to play the bass. And you know how your family is, yo, like when y'all real articulate, like with the way y'all talk and everything and stuff like that. And that's the dope thing about God, man, because that's how light works, bro. It doesn't dissipate.
Facts.
Like it don't go away.
Comes right back around full circle, man.
Like light can dim, and even when you get to like a total darkness, right? There's a way, like, so when they even dealing with like black holes and stuff like that, there's a darker dark that allows them to know where the black holes are. So that's a light.
That's crazy. Like you look at it.
That's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Like for something to be so dark that it's a light.
That's powerful though.
I'm just stoked, bro, that we could even get face to face, bro, even on the FaceTime and stuff. Cause I always see you out there in Cali and stuff doing your thing, and you always be like, even the times I hit you up and stuff, you always been like, yo, bro, if you come out here, you straight. Like if you get out this way, bro, you straight. Just trust me. Just once you land, just tell me you here and you good, bro.
Right.
And that's how God works, bro. Like he tells us that we'll get to a point that he'll answer our prayers before we're even done praying.
Man, that's so true.
How can we even know that though? You feel me? Like, how can something be faster than instantaneous?
For real.
What's quicker than that? Like, what's quicker than quantum leaping, bro?
Ain't nothing.
See, all of that for me ties into the apotheosis, because we dictate these roles and we give things these parameters that dictate that they are that.
Right.
They're of such a high divinity that they can do these things. But when we really understand God and when we really truly know who God or what God is, which we can't really get the whole of it, because that's why he tells you, like, I can't even show you my face because you'll die.
Right.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's the 5 P's I try to live by. So that's something that tied me into watching your podcast and stuff like that too, because it's like the alliteration of the words and stuff that you be using and everything like that. Yeah. It draws me in because that's how my mind learned, because my mind has always been under duress. In order for me to succeed, I've always had to hit the buzzer beater.
Like under pressure.
And I couldn't understand that. And now to spearhead to now, I know that that was the signal for God letting me know that I was chosen, because many are called but few are chosen. But that's what lets me know and makes me feel without a shadow of a doubt that I'm chosen because of those type of things. So like even going all the way back then, doing the dance ministries when we would dance and even though I can't remember a lot of the streets and all of that stuff, you know, back in little old Titusville and everything like that, bro, we were operating with God, and it was in a sense when I couldn't even believe in God.
But the seed was already planted.
Yeah.
Seed was already planted.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the anointing floweth over.
And it's like now years later, you would think that it wasn't even clicking. and then like years later you go through all these different things, and then like it emerges, it starts coming out, you start to understand God more, you start to deal with these things, and like he starts to show you who he is. And you, because I didn't really start to, I mean, I was understanding who God was, but I didn't really understand who God was until I got out, you know, got out on my own. I left Titusville, came out here to Cali, and like I'm just starting to experience God in ways that I've never even imagined. You know, like I always put him in a box. I always put him in this box. And like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, God is in these four walls of church. But it's like, once you get out there and you start to experience things, it's like, man, God, he'll move in different ways. Like he'll put people in your path. Like you said, when you pray, and it's already answered before you even finished it. Like people will be placed in my path, and things that I'm trying to do, the people are they right there. The right people are in place, and they're helping me to get to where I'm trying to go, or you know, something I wanted or needed. They are providing it for me, and it's like, how did this even, like, how did I even get here? And it goes back full circle.
Absolutely. Coming from Florida after doing the prison beds and all of that stuff that I did, a lot of people don't know, bro. Like I beat body beds, bro. Like I was supposed to die in prison. Like really, like was supposed to like. And eventually we'll get to a point where I can show everybody that stuff and send them that stuff where they can see like factual paperwork where these people were saying like the offer was 30 years day for day. Like minimum mandatory.
Yeah.
Like robbery with firearms and going into structures with guns and holding people up. So
yeah,
you're gonna do every day of 30 years in prison. You know?
Yeah.
Or we can give you 60 and you can get some good time on it.
Peace.
And people don't think about stuff like that, but they say a life sentence, but that's a death sentence.
That is.
They sentence you to die.
Literally.
Just slowly. Me going to church and stuff there, like, to me, y'all were the golden family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was like, kind of like, come on, bro, we like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
I had already been through so much trauma and all of the stuff I've been through. Already, like, drugged throughout the states, from coming from Connecticut all the way down south to Florida, like going through all of the foster care system and all of that stuff that I went through with all of that. And then to get there, like, I really, one of my favorite movies to this day for a reason, and people don't understand, like, and that's why too, like, it ties into what we're talking about, because we don't really understand. I think we as people don't understand, like, the that is put in the media.
Right.
And when I look at Jim Carrey and Lemony Snicket's A Series of Misunfortunate Events.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
That was my life. That movie was my life going through the foster care system.
Wow.
And I mean, true indeed, we get lost with the little Ricky Dink things, like, you know, with them doing what they did. And they desensitize us to the notion that this is possible by putting in these imaginary things.
Right.
So that we don't think that we are in the midst of these things happening on Earth. But the fact of the matter is, we have people that they get foster kids and all of this stuff, and they really use them like slaves. And they take the money that they get from the state, from them being a ward of a state, and all they don't buy the kids stuff, and they don't provide for the kids the way that they should, and they take the money and they do whatever they can do with the money. And the thing is, a lot of times when you're dealing with the foster care system, they try to integrate you through a way where you're tied with family. And then it goes back to the Bible for me, where people forget that Cain killed Abel. So from the start, family ties have been a troublesome thing.
In the beginning.
From the beginning, family has been a troublesome thing.
Facts.
And then we got all these people always running around here talking about blood is thicker than water. And that just makes it easy for me to say, it's off with your head, but you know what? You're forgiven because you're my cousin.
Right. Crazy when you look at it like that.
It is, but it's the reality of it.
It is.
So the reason why I picked the topic of the apotheosis for me And see, it's crazy because that's how God works, because God will tell you just go get the bare minimum and then you're going to create a multitude of what is needed. I picked Apotheosis for the fact I feel like it's the most overlooked thing when we're dealing with something that's so important, when we're dealing with God and spiritual elevation and being elevated mentally, because this is the Elevated Minds podcast. Discernment. I believe that apotheosis is the most overlooked thing when dealing with that, because we see it in so many outlets that we're desensitized to it and we never think about it. Whether it's when people say Jay-Z throws up the Illuminati symbol or anything like that, it's always these people trying to put themselves in a position of divinity or in a state that will propel them into something that is infinite, which nothing is infinite but God in the essence that he bestows upon us.
Right.
So that's why I chose that topic, because it goes on in everyday life. Like, we see it even in the form of, like, for instance, last night I was laying down, right? I was watching Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And it's deep to me because the mind is so powerful, right? And it's crazy because right now the pastor of my church and my mother who took me in and everything like that, she's talking about kingdom language and guarding your thoughts. And the crazy thing about that is because I was having a conversation with her and saying how people don't understand why we're always going to be in a confliction with ourselves. And it's because the flesh is the time part of us, which comes all the way from Adam and Eve. Like, the smallest thing you could have is a cell.
Right.
It's just a singular organism. And it's a cell. It's the most minute, microscopic thing that you could get.
Right.
But it's so much time trapped into that. And we overlay that and name it DNA. But that's just the code of time. That's really what DNA stands for, a code of time.
Right.
Because it could not exist if something didn't exist before it.
That's true.
And then I break it down and I go all the way to the fact that a brain cell. So here we have a cell that's the smallest thing that you could have. And then on the tiniest microscopic thing that you could have, you have a fiber on it, which is called a nerve synapse, which is the fibers that are attached to brain cells.
Right.
And along those nerve synapses are tiny charges of electricity, of light, literally lightning, the most destructive force that you can probably find in anything.
Right.
But that's trapped inside our cranium, Jalen.
That's wild. All of that going on.
Without that lightning charging across the most minute thing we could have, those cells, the fibers on those cells, that destructive force of light, we couldn't even be conscious. We couldn't even know that we exist.
Man.
And that has to be the start of apotheosis.
Right.
For me, because you have to elevate your mind to even get to a state of divinity.
Real quick, can you explain to the people what apotheosis is? I don't think many people know. But honestly, before this, I didn't even know what apotheosis was.
Is there a way where we could read the actual definition and then I could define it based off of why I'm saying it?
Let me see.
Because I know two meanings of it is gonna come up.
Yeah.
And I want you to read it because I know once you read the both of them, I know the one that's gonna have the pizzazz.
Okay. The highest point in the development of something. Culmination or climax. Apotheosis also can mean elevation to the status of a god. To deify. It can mean elevation to divine status, the perfect form or example of something, the highest or best part of something.
See how deep that is. You see how dope that is.
That's real deep.
But that is so tied into us. Something was said about me through my church, which is Wayfaring Ministries in Hamden, Connecticut, where I go. One of the sisters spoke and said that I have the wisdom of God but I've yet to have like the doctrine, the word of God. And the thing of that, it struck me because it comes back to me saying what I was saying about the brain with the light. Like, if we didn't have electricity charging across our brain, bro, our cranium in the smallest form, like, you never have to once think to tell your heart to beat.
Facts.
But it does. Like, there's never an afterthought you have about your lungs expanding and contracting.
Right.
And the only reason why that it goes on constantly is because this light that has been bestowed upon you is constantly going. And when that light goes out, because we know light doesn't die, you can't kill energy.
That's facts.
It's maneuvered. You put it in a different form. It changes. It goes here. It goes there.
Can't be created or destroyed.
This is why we will always be in a conflict, because we're tied to something, because God made something great and he knew it. And I think that people have a tendency to forget that when you read the scriptures and everything, that it tells you even before God created everything that he created, that God was there and God was with wisdom. People have a tendency to forget that wisdom was with God before God even made a command to create or do anything. God was with wisdom.
Right.
And the only thing that wisdom could have been, it has to be light.
Let there be light.
And he channeled that, because we're built in the way, right, where from the outside in, right, we're the most destructive thing that you can have holds us together at the most minute fibers of our life.
That's powerful, man.
That's crazy, right?
It is.
Because if the same lightning that's channeling through your brain cells right now that is allowing us to talk and even have this conversation, or to see each other and to have recognition of each other on this camera, was to unleash and zap somebody, they could die.
Instant. That's
steady channeling inside this little cranium that, you get me?
Like, perfectly.
So, to me, that's how dope God is to me, bro. That's how real God is for me, bro. It was a long time coming and getting to this spearhead and going through everything, because even like I say, like, I came there and I would watch your father and I would hear him preach, and it couldn't resonate with me because I wasn't in a position.
Right.
And years later, I learned that a man is born into affliction for that reason. All of those things that happen, those traps and those snares and all of that stuff, it was designed to get you in the trenches and get you into a position so that now you can realize this light and you can really realize what you have. And that will be the true form of apotheosis, to understand that we're eternal creatures, but God made something so great that he couldn't work himself, but he put the essence of him into something that could work and take care of that.
Man, that's powerful.
And it's crazy because a guy said to me earlier that he don't think that we have another 5 years on this earth. And I started thinking about it, and I was saying how, like, our lifespan is not even an eyelash of God. That's why we're going to always be in confliction with ourselves or anything like that, because we're tied to something. We're made of an eternal essence, and we're tied to something that's meant to end. So it's oxymoronic from the start. It's a catch-22. It's the circle file, bro. Like, that's like me sitting here telling you, man, you the tallest short dude I ever met. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Man, that's the fattest skinny kid I ever seen.
It don't even make sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the wild conundrum, bro, that we gotta be bewildered by it. But it's so amazing because I believe that we're streaming apotheosis through the media and through music and all of this. We're trying to elevate ourselves to a status of divinity, and it's not reaching us the right way, because, for lack of a better term, we're not on the right realm to receive it. Like, we're not getting the beacon that we should be getting, because our discernment, You know what I'm saying? Because, bro, there's no doubt in my mind that if we are allowed to be here in 2045, there will still be people talking about Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
And just as sure as there will be people still talking about that, there will be people talking about Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci.
Facts.
These are all people that I believe they were able to channel their light.
I like that.
I believe they really got the essence of apotheosis, and that's why they will forever be etched into the minds of everyone, because you can't go through no culture without really like knowing about those people.
They're like figures now.
You get what I'm saying? And that's why I chose that subject, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, bro, because I can always remember having those memories all the way back then and being like just thinking like y'all was gonna be good, like you, Julian, and all of your cousins and everything, and Steven, like y'all were automatically gonna be good because y'all were already tied in.
I feel that.
But not being able to understand that you could fail too if you don't tap in. You can fail too, because it can be a hit and a miss.
1,000%.
You can be sitting on the throne and not be a king. You know what I'm saying? And we have all of these people that are struggling to make themselves immortal, when we already have the essence of apotheosis right here.
Facts.
In our minds. If we truly elevate our minds and we truly want to partake in being the upper echelon of things, we already have that here. We have that true divinity.
That's
to
right.
be eternal, because we were made that way.
That's right.
To mature, and then so when we do detach from the one thing about us that is meant to be dismissed, we can truly be forevermore, bro.
Man, this is a great conversation, man. Man.
Bro, it's been a long time coming, bro. To really be sitting in those pews, bro, and watching y'all and just being like, this can't be real. Like, I really felt like y'all did that because y'all had to do that. Because, you know, we don't want to kick nobody in the ground, because everybody has to answer on their own time and everybody has to pay their own penance.
Right.
But to have people that, like I said, with the Lemony Snicket thing, you know, there was times when I was in that house and I was scared to ask for something to eat, bro.
Wow.
Like, and not just with Sadie and Carrie, but I've been in foster homes where people lock the refrigerator.
Wow, that's crazy.
Put locks on the refrigerator. And I had people that changed the locks on the doors and really went and cut out flaps on the door and fed me grits in a bowl through a flap on the door and left me in the room with a mattress.
Wow.
And me being young and not being able to really understand, or, you know, because you can know something's not right, but you can't pinpoint it. And then the people that you look up to and the people that you hold dear, you consider them to be the people that are responsible for your well-being. If they don't, for lack of a better term, if they don't buck the jack, if they don't go against the system and they just go with the flow, now it's like you're deflated, because you're like, well, this is the person that I know will protect me. And they're agreeing with the person that I feel is doing something wrong. So how do you dispute that? Like, as a kid,
you can't. Like, that's gonna mess you up.
And one thing that your uncle taught me a long time ago, when I never forgot when I heard him talk about having the innocence of a child. Because we are as children, we are naturally inquisitive.
That's right.
And that's because experience is the one true teacher. That's the reason why when your parents say don't touch that because it's hot, you still touch it. Then it's and then they pop you like, didn't I tell you not to touch it? Because they have to double down on it, because they know themselves didn't take heed to the fact that was hot when somebody told them that.
Right. Because
you can't know the seriousness of heat without feeling it. I want to let you talk now, to be honest. Because I've been doing all the talking, bro. I'm gonna let you talk.
Hey, man, I'm just absorbing all of it, because it's like I had never even heard of apotheosis. I looked it up a little bit before you had mentioned it. And man, it's just like going through the whole spectrum. Like you said, when you started, like even me when I was a kid, I didn't even fully understand everything in the mindset that I was at. You know, I didn't understand God. I didn't understand all that Jesus church. I didn't really understand all that. And so like, I don't feel like I really understood everything until I, like I said, left and I had to go on my own journey. And I went through a lot of stuff. You know, I was with this girl and, you know, she passed away. I was in love with her. She passed away in a car accident. So I had to like, I dealt with loss, like at, I think what age, well, I think I was 23, 24. So I dealt with something that crazy. And then I actually was married when I was 20. So I've been through divorce. And like, when I came over here, he was like, you know, I was in debt. So I dealt with that. And just like, when I moved over here, I had to like relearn my whole like identity. And it's like, I feel like when I moved away, I kind of started from ground zero. And so it felt like I had this idea of who God was and like everything I went through with church and everything. But it's like, I didn't feel like I really knew God for myself. You know, I knew him for what it was in church. That's what I knew, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and like, I feel like, you know, people, a lot of times they would put me on like this pedestal. And it was like, I had to learn, like, I'm just like a normal person, you know what I mean? I'm just a normal person. I'm trying to figure it out just like everybody else. And, you know, but I did have good parents. You know, they're not perfect, but I had good parents and everything. But I grew up in such a strict household. Like, I wasn't allowed to do nothing. And so it's like, I felt like I had to go through this whole thing, you know, because I felt like I was sheltered. My parents really sheltered me. And so I feel like when I got out, I don't want to say I got out of the covering, but I do feel like I had to go through a lot of things in order to like really figure out who God was for myself. And when I tell you, like, I went through so many things mentally, like I've been through depression, I've been through like anxiety, I've been through all these different types of things, you know, after my girlfriend's death, and then I went through a lot of things. But in those moments, like, I feel like if I hadn't gone through those things, like, I wouldn't have reached where I'm at right now. So, like,
the whole point of man being born into affliction.
Exactly. Like, I had to go through those things. Like, and I feel like, you know, my parents wanted to protect me. You know, they wanted to protect me from a lot of things. And I feel like it was good that they wanted to protect me, but I feel like I slowed with my development. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the fact that I was able to go through these different things, it's like, people say they see me and they're like, dang, you seem like so enlightened and you seem like so wise. And it's like, well, let me tell you, like, I wasn't always this way. It's like I had to go through these things, and going through debt and like just struggling and like just, you know, borrowing from this person to pay this person back. And it's like, did I make the right choice moving away? And like, I'm all the way over here. I had to redefine myself. Like, I was this, you know, the pastor's kid. Like, I was James Warren's son. Like, that was me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I come here and I don't know anyone. Like, I knew two people out here. I literally had to go through the trenches, like the trenches, like the different stuff that's happened. But then I feel like, you know, I got with, like, you know, people that used me. Some people lied to me, stole from me, really like abusive women. And there was like all types of crazy stuff that was going on. But the last really crazy thing that happened was when I was with this one girl. And like, you know, the things that she was putting me through mentally, I didn't understand it. And I was going through something with one of my other friends at the time. And I was just like, this can't be it. Like, what is going on here? I felt like I was in mental bondage. And, you know, I had to get to the point where I'm like, hey, like, God, you got to help me, because I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't know what to do. But in that moment, saying, hey, God, like, I can't do this on my own. You know, when I tell you, man, like, the things just started to happen. Yeah, I started to learn about God in a different light, like a different perspective, in a whole different perspective. And when God started to show himself to me, I was just like, I thought I knew who God was until I went through these things. Like you said, the affliction. I went through this affliction. I lost so much. I lost friends. I lost like my peace. I felt like I lost my sanity at one point. But going through that, now I can be grateful for where I'm at. Like, I feel like I've gotten to a point of apotheosis and realizing I had to change my mindset. Like, I was in this victim mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was in this I was moving out of fear and scarcity, and, you know, just like, woe is me. Like, why are these things happening to me? And then I had to realize the things that were happening to me weren't happening to me, they were happening for me. And once I switched my mindset around and my perspective, and I like seeked God, it was just like, now life is just, it changed. It flipped upside down. Like I said, people were getting put into, like, man, I have like a second family here. Like, I like, kind of like how you said family took you in. Like, I got a family over here that, like, when I worked at my first job, when I moved over here, they're this nice Christian couple. She's Filipino, he's a black dude, and they just like took me in. Like, they just like shower me with love. They take me on their vacations. Like, they feed me. They take me on their, you know, family dinners, and it's like they give me gifts on my birthday. They give me gifts on, you know, they just shower me with love. And it's like, wow, like God really put a whole second family in my life. And then,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then, like, I'm meeting friends, I'm meeting people that are connections, like putting me on, and just like I'm learning from so many different people, and just like things that I just never thought about. I had to like let go of that old construct of who I thought I was. And once I like let go and let God, literally like let go and let God, my mind just transformed. I let go of like people that didn't mean me no well. Like, I started being around people that are higher level than me. Like, they're, you know, people that are doing the things that I want to do. I started getting put in positions to be around those types of people. Like, people helping me with finance, people helping me spiritually, people helping me like see God in a whole different light, because I always just seen God in a box, like I was saying. And man, when I tell you like the transformation, like, that's why I do Elevated Minds, because it's like I've been through so much, but I feel like because I've been through so much, like, I want to help as many people as I can. And at some point I thought, like, dang, this is crazy. Like, what am I doing? You know, I made a podcast, and I'm like talking about stuff that a lot of people don't know what it even is. I don't know if I'm touching people. Like, I don't know if I'm even saying the right things. Like, I don't, you know, I got to the point, you know, where I got discouraged. But then I hear people like say, oh, you know, this episode you did help me, or the episode about dating, or about the toxic relationships, that really helped me. Or when you say you was in a dark place and getting out of a dark place, that really helped me. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually helping people. It's like, even if it's only a couple people, that's still helping somebody. And so, like, I feel like my state of apotheosis was happening through those trenches, through those dark moments I had to go through. And through that, like, just turmoil, like losing my peace, losing my sanity, all these things brought me to where I am right now. And so, like, a lot of people say, I like your energy, Jay. I like your presence. Like, you just seem like you're just full of life. I'm like, hey, that's all God, though. you know,
Just think about it, bro. Like, think about it like this, right? Like, and this is why I picked that topic, because it's at the forefront of our media, whether we know it or not.
Facts.
Everything has to start with the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about this. What would make a man Stan Lee? What would make this dude think of a man that could run at the speed of light?
Facts. Or shoot webs out of his hands.
But, like, even before we get on to any of all the other superheroes, for a guy to be able to run at the speed of light, bro, the very essence that lets you know that you exist,
right?
You have to transcend something. Like, you have to be able to go outside of yourself. And the only way that could happen is if the higher power, bro, grabs you.
Facts.
And gives you a revelation to let you know that, like, you are more than this that you're tied to.
Yes.
You're only tied to this because I need a physical part of you to work this beautiful gift that I have bestowed to the people. And we see it so much across all the outlets of our media, whether it be the way people use Greek mythology and Roman mythology with, like, Zeus, and how the higher deity is always a form of light or something like that, or lightning. Like, we always see these people using lack of a better term, let's say like personifications of apotheosis, where we're taking these things that aren't even human and making them like a form of divinity or something that can't be destroyed or something that's infinite. You know what I'm saying? Something that can't be contained.
Literally.
And I feel like that's why that word, once I learned it, it stuck with me so much, and it sticks with me so much to this day, because I see people trying to undergo that process in all walks of life.
Yeah.
Like everybody, I have yet to meet a person that don't want to etch their name into the sky. It's big as when you're a kid.
Oh yeah, the imagination.
And I feel like that's why people like Stan Lee and all of those people were so able to, once they found that niche or whatever, that's why that will never go away, because they tapped into something that they know. And then going back to like your uncle was saying, with the innocence of a child, we are most inquisitive when we are young.
100%.
Because when we are young, we haven't been constructed inside these parameters that say what can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is possible when you're young.
That's so true.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you were young, your dad could beat you like Superman, but when you were young, your dad could beat Superman up.
Thanks.
Because he was your hero.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? And we etch ourselves into the skies based off of that. And all of that ties back into apotheosis or the process of apotheosis through that, because we all want to get to a point where we're forevermore, where the good things that we have done can never be overshadowed.
Right.
It's crazy that I was able to even get that and be able to bring that based off basically, bro, like anime, bro.
That's a great example.
Like Dragon Ball Z, Goku.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, Ultra Instinct.
It's like that's the mimic of apotheosis, bro.
Literally.
Like to have a form where it's not even a reaction. It's done before you even know what. I don't even know how to explain it. You get what I'm saying?
I know. But the crazy thing is, like, we all have that. We can do that. That's in us. Like you said, God has put that spark in us. Like we all have that. All we have to do is tap into it. Like
and that's what gets me with it, because I think, and that's why I'm trying to find some ways to work on some segments and even get to like, because you inspire me through your Elevated Minds podcast and everything to try to start doing something like that of my own, where I can help people to be able to decipher these things that at the forefront of the media that they're pushing out there, because we have a tendency to think that these things aren't real, but they're real. Because if you can, just like they tell you, if you can think it, you can create it.
Right.
Because these things are real. The man moving at the speed of light is real. Because guess what? Factually, we moving at the speed of light.
Facts.
Because it's going light right now. That's all that.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? But they use these things and they thrust it upon us, and we're desensitized to it because it's given to us like one of those funny mirrors at the fair. It's distorted. So the reflection of what we really are comes to us as a gimmick.
Right.
Now we see it so much and we hear about it so much that we don't think that that's what we are.
And it's possible.
We die down to the thought that we are really infinite beings that can really manifest and do anything.
I mean, look at what we're doing right now. We're literally talking to each other from different sides of the world. Like, this came from somebody's mind. Literally.
Bro, everything that you see right now has been put in the media. Why? The fact that we doing this right now, bro, this should be enough to make our head explode.
For real.
The only reason why it isn't is because we've seen it so much since the 80s and going up. We've seen it put in the forefront of the medias and all of that stuff. It's like the abuse of the apotheosis process, that we see it so much that when we're finally in that moment, it's not that amazing anymore.
That's so true.
Because we've been surrounded by it so long.
That's facts. I make it seem like it's a fairy tale, but it's real.
You know what I'm saying? So right now, if we was to really see a man running at the speed of light, I'd be like, that was Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been watching this since the 60s. But I mean, when you got people like Usain Bolt, this dude is running 30 miles per hour. He ran 30 miles per hour. That's a car.
That's unheard of. Like,
and that comes from the master architect. That's the engineering of God.
All we gotta do is tap in.
We gotta tap in, bro. We gotta elevate.
And
that's why I really wanted to get on here, and I really wanted to talk to you, and that's why I started following you and really watching your podcast about elevating the minds, bro. It's simply because that, bro. And I definitely want you to pat yourself on the back and know that you got a good thing going, bro. You feel me? And it's only going to get better, bro. And I'm here, bro. Whatever you need me to do, however you need me to do to promote the brand or however, whatever, bro, I'm here for you because people need to hear these type of things so they can really know like stuff like this is possible. Apotheosis it's upon us, bro. This is our given talents, bro. This is what we got, bro. If we elevate our minds, bro.
Thanks, man. And I appreciate that, man. For real. Like, I think we should do more of these, you know? Like, I'm sure we got more stuff to talk about. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, bro. And know what I'm saying? Bro, listen, total side note, know what I'm saying? To end the night off, to have the nightcap, bro. I'm going to be out there, bro, some way, somehow soon, bro.
Okay.
And it's crazy because I work at a department store out here in the mall. The old school soul group, the Delphonics, the group, because once they split, like the original members all split and all like got their own group of it.
Okay.
But the guy from Out Your Way, I think he said he's in Anaheim, but I talked to him. He's out there in Cali. Okay. Gary Stevenson and Mike Rhodes.
Okay, that's only an hour and a half from here.
Yeah, they were flying back and forth. He flies back and forth because they're trying to get a forum that they can do out here at Foxwoods where they can come and perform with the Delphonics and all of that stuff like that. So even him, man, he told me, he was like, man, yo, bro, you're a star. He told me that. And I didn't know this dude for 30 seconds, bro.
Wow.
And really wasn't talking to him. I literally just told him where he can go to find the fitting rooms. But he was watching me. He engaged with some of my coworkers and how I was talking to them and articulating myself with them.
Yeah.
And he said, man, there's a spot for you in Cali, bro.
Hey.
He said, bro, you're meant to be in front of the camera and saying what needs to be said, bro.
Man.
And he told me that. And I'm coming into the fruitation of where I'm starting to understand when everybody is telling you something, why would you deny yourself that?
Right.
Especially when it's a good thing that everybody's telling you.
Exactly.
We get so caught up with people telling us you can't do this and all the naysayers and never minders that when we do get the bulk of the people saying this is what you should be doing, that we desensitize to that too, bro.
Thanks.
And we don't take heed to that.
Thanks.
So, bro, like, big things are happening, bro, and I'm really coming out of a shell, and I'm just getting better, bro, and I'm giving more time to God, bro, and once you do that, you get better because we weren't meant to be a construct of time. We're attached to something that's a construct of time.
Right.
And we can't fully understand that because our true essence is of something that's eternal.
Spiritual.
So I gotta give the time to God to let him to be the orchestrator of the time.
Right.
And then everything can follow from that and the plans can follow from that. But there's no doubt in my mind that, bro, I'll definitely be out there your way soon, bro, even if just a visit and everything blossoms from there, bro.
That's right. Hey, man, let me know when you come in. You already know. We gonna link. You already know.
Yeah, because I'm tired of you with all these nature trails and all of this stuff anyways, bro. Like, bro, I feel like you was, bro, the other day I even showed my mom's, bro. I'm like, yo, he out here in the Zen garden. What's going on? Yo, we was in here literally enlarging the picture trying to see if I could find the grasshopper.
I'll be out here, man.
But nah, man, this was dope, man.
This is dope.
We gonna be in touch.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna do this again, man, the next time we can. And like I say, man, you inspired me, man. I've been watching. I got my notifications on, man. So when you drop stuff, man, I scroll, man. I watch you. I see you. I look at the other people that come on. Like there's definitely like there's a light-skinned woman that comes on. She talks real deep when she comes on. She be talking deep. She talks that talk, bro. She has like the locks.
The locks. I'm trying to remember which lady.
I don't know if it's just snippets that you be putting on the podcast.
Sometimes I put snippets on there.
And I think that's what it is with her.
Okay.
I think she's snippets that you do.
Yeah, because I do.
Yeah. I remember in one she's talking about how she doesn't want to be with nobody because nobody's gonna love her how she loves herself.
Oh yeah, it's like I like to pick those deep ones like that because it really, it gets people's attention.
Yeah.
But I like the stuff that's gonna like really, get people thinking. So like sometimes I post those stuff like that.
But no, definitely, man, chop this up, man. Edit it how you gonna do it, man. We gonna make some stuff happen. I'm posting, I'm reposting. I got my people posting, and we in here, bro. I'm pushing the brand too, bro.
Appreciate it.
Definitely telling people about the elevated minds, bro. Like I said, I'm pretty sure once my mom and them and everybody watch it and everything, man, you'll have some more subscribers and some watchers and stuff like that, man. So
sounds good.
Bro, big things coming, bro. It's gonna be waves, bro. Big
things coming, man. Hey, I appreciate it. This was a dope episode, bro. It was too dope.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it edited up and I'm gonna tag you and we'll get it all.
Bro, and then look, bro, cause this how God works, bro. Bro, it's been decades in between time, bro, when we've seen each other.
Decades. Bro. Literally decades.
Literally decades, literally. Bro.
Full circle.
We were teenagers, bro.
Literally.
13, 14 years old, bro. We're in our 30s, bro.
Literally, I'm 32.
I'll be 34 this year, bro.
Look at that. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And definitely tell your father and them, man, I said hi, man. And it's okay, man, if you give them my links and my numbers. I'm actually gonna when I get off of this, I'll end up texting you my actual phone number and all of that stuff too, man.
Okay.
For me, let them know, man. You know what I'm saying? Julian, any of them, man, if they ever want to hit me up or anything, man, or got words of inspiration or anything, man.
Okay.
I'm around, man, because it's been a long time coming into the fold, man, but things are coming to a spearhead now, man, and God is really getting us in the position to make moves and do better and bigger things, man, because the kingdom is really elevating and the time is really coming.
That's right. Hey, we gonna do it, man. We gonna do it.
Absolutely, bro.
All right, man. Stay elevated.